Hey everyone, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. This is our post WWE No Mercy 2016 discussion video. I am being joined by the white meat mofo himself, David Payne. How you doing today, David?
That name's just going to stick forever now. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on, Aaron.
No problem. So we just wrapped up No Mercy. There was also a presidential debate going on, and WWE decided to change things up for this pay-per-view. They had the WWE title match kick off the pay-per-view. But before we get to the pay-per-view, let's talk about the pre-show. We had Kurt Hawkins coming out during the pre-show and basically just announcing that he would have a match on SmackDown. So not on the pay-per-view, but on SmackDown. And that was the whole segment. What did you think about Kurt Hawkins' first live appearance since his return to WWE?
They took a page out of TNA's book when they had Cody Rhodes come out and announce that he'll wrestle at a future time as well. I guess that was a page out of their book. But I don't know. His first impression wasn't too good when the fans were going, "What?" between every sentence. So we'll see how it plays out for him.
Yeah, the weird thing is you would think that if he was a big deal, he would actually have his first match on the pay-per-view, not on SmackDown. So that was mind-boggling, but whatever. I mean, just time filler, that's all it was. And then
Yeah, pre-show.
yeah, and then we had the backstage segment where Shane McMahon announced that Becky Lynch would not be able to compete due to a medical issue. And as of this recording, there's still no official word on what's going on with her. She did tweet out something, appears that she's in a hospital somewhere. So something's going on, some sort of medical issue, not an injury, not a wellness suspension, something else going on. But she is expected back soon. So this isn't something that's considered to be serious. You had Alexa Bliss saying that she should be the new champion. And Daniel Bryan said that Bliss will get her title shot on November 8th in Scotland, which is almost a month away.
Hi to my friends in Scotland.
Yeah. How's it going, everyone out there in Scotland and around the world watching this video? So yeah, the rematch is a month from now, and Bryan said that Bliss would get a match on the pay-per-view, and we'll get to that in a few minutes here. We had American Alpha and the Hype Brothers versus the Ascension and the Vaudevillains, and this was just a standard 8-man tag team match. More or less the same exact match they had in Portland last night. I was there for that show, and yeah, just pretty much the same thing. Not much to it. Your typical kickoff match. Any thoughts on it?
No, it's just a way to appease everybody and get them somehow some FaceTime on TV. But I'm a little irritated with these 8-man tags or whatever. It's just a little ridiculous. I don't even pay too much attention to them.
Yeah, I think the match was just basically designed to put over American Alpha and focus on them and showcase their abilities and let them do all their cool suplexes and stuff. And that's
pretty much, yeah.
So we kicked off the pay-per-view with the WWE title match. AJ Styles defending against John Cena and Dean Ambrose. Ronaldo said on commentary that AJ's having a better year than anyone not named Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I thought that was a good line. And this match was also similar to the match in Portland, but they did do a bit more. Some things they did the previous night in Portland, like the double German suplex that Cena did to both of them, that was done in Portland. There's less comedy in this match. The Portland match, they did a lot of comedy spots. Here, they were doing all the near falls, lots of near falls in this match.
Oh, yeah.
Cena did a double five-knuckle shuffle to both of them. And back and forth. I thought this was a really strong triple threat match. What did you think of the match itself?
Yeah, and typically I'm not a huge fan of triple threat matches. WWE's been doing them a lot lately, but this one was fantastic. I mean, this is A minus if I'm being critical, but definitely within the A ballpark in my opinion. This was a great match.
Yeah, you had the submissions being put on and guys breaking up the submissions, back and forth with all three guys. And then you had Cena and Ambrose both put on a submission to AJ, and AJ tapped out. But since only one person can tap somebody out for there to be a decision, the referee kept the match going. Styles pulled out the referee after Ambrose hit the Dirty Deeds, and then Cena hit the Super AA off the ropes onto Ambrose, and then you had Styles hitting Cena with a steel chair, and pinning John Cena for the third time on pay-per-view. AJ Styles defeating John Cena. I was a little surprised by this. I mean, I figured Styles might beat Ambrose, but Styles beating Cena yet again, I was a little bit surprised by that. And, kudos to John Cena for putting over AJ yet again. I mean, I haven't seen somebody put over a guy like this maybe since when Triple H put over Batista back in 2005 and really put Batista on the map.
Yeah, John Cena has put more people over than your buddy Hulk Hogan, that's for darn sure. But that's a different story. But yeah, great match. And I thought too, like the ring placement, the timing, like everything was crucial in this match. The spots were everywhere they landed. I thought it was really crisp. And I was a little confused at first because, I didn't take into account about the debate. I just set a DVR to it and I'll skim through it later, but unwillingly probably. But yeah, I thought that the finish was a false finish when he had the two double submission. And I thought he was going to say, it's just going to be those two and they'll have a match down the road. But it continued, and then AJ winning, as you said, for the third time. But let's keep in mind, two of those times were a dirty finish, or as they call in the industry, a dusty finish.
Yeah.
But, it's great. And, I want to see AJ have a long title run. And this is just another way to boost his image as being the top heel in SmackDown.
Imagine if Shawn Michaels came out of retirement to face AJ for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble at the Alamo Dome.
Cha-ching. That's all I got to say.
I mean,
you want to talk about a great match?
I mean, if there was ever a time for Shawn to come back for one more match, that would be it.
Well, when he came back at WrestleMania, when Mick Foley and Stone Cold, I thought Shawn Michaels looked in tremendous shape.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
They were even saying that the whole time he wrestled, I think Shawn was joking around with X-Pac, and he said that the whole time I wrestled, I never had a six-pack, and now that I'm out of wrestling, I actually got a six-pack. So, yeah, he looked in great shape, and I think he should have a one-off match, definitely, down the road.
Alamo Dome, AJ Styles. Yeah. I mean, can't get any better than that.
Yeah, I might have to get a ticket for that one, man.
Yeah, I know. All right, so next up we had Nikki Bella versus Carmella, which was in the death spot here following the WWE title match. And they were unable to top the WWE title match. But, it was all right. I mean, nothing special. Pretty basic women's match. And Nikki won with the Rack Attack 2.0. So that's the end of that. Any thoughts on this match?
No, I mean, I'm not a big Carmella fan, really, but, I wouldn't even be surprised if I don't know if they're going to do jobbers on SmackDown, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give Nikki Bella a few jobbers along the way to build her credibility back up again. But, yeah, it is what it is. It's a preliminary women's match on SmackDown.
Yeah, not much to say about it. And next up we had The Miz backstage saying that he would retire both Dolph Ziggler and Bryan. Actually, he just said that they would both be retired after this match. And Miz said he wanted to have his contract renegotiated again. And next up, we had Heath, Slater, and Rhino versus the Usos for the tag team titles. Funny chant from the fans. They were chanting, "He's got kids" at Slater. That was a good chant. Little surprised by this match. I thought this would be a title change. I thought the Usos would capitalize on their heel turn and win the titles, but no, we had Rhino hitting the Gore and pinning I think it was Jimmy Uso to get the win, and yeah, Heath Slater and Rhino are still the tag team champions. So what did you think about the champions retaining here and the Usos doing the job?
Yeah, I mean, we claim to be somewhat experts, and you, Jeff Meacham, and I all thought that the Usos would win. But again, it could just be their way of dragging it out a little bit longer, and eventually the Usos will probably be the title holders until the up-and-coming babyface American Alpha could dethrone them on a pay-per-view down the road. So that's what I think, anyway.
I'm not a fan of their yellow shoes. What do you think of their yellow shoes?
Yeah, they're a little bit tacky, and I think JBL made some reference to their honoring their heritage or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's a little tacky.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the shoes.
Me neither.
Just throwing that out there. Maybe because one of them's dating Naomi, and she's got the cool shoes, so they got to do the cool shoes.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm not exactly a fashion expert, so it is what it is.
Well, I guess we know who wears the pants in that family if he's wearing the girl's shoes.
My sense of fashion is wearing no DQ&A video T-shirts.
There you go. I got to get one of them.
Which you can
extra large.
You can get on ProWrestlingTees.com. Search No DQ, by the way, or check out the link in the description box. Cheap plug. All right, so next up we had Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger, and this was right when the presidential debate was going on, and Donald Trump was talking about how he's going to make America safe again. But that's all off topic. I was getting some heat for talking about the debate, even though Donald Trump is a WWE Hall of Famer after all. So
yeah, and you know what? Look, you're in a public forum, and you've made yourself a staple in the market, so you have every right to go ahead and say whatever you feel, man. That's
he's a legend. He's a WrestleMania legend, so we got to talk about him.
That's true. He's WWE marketable product now.
Yeah, and we had Baron Corbin versus Swagger, and it was funny at the Portland show. All the baby faces won except for Jack Swagger. So, I mean, that really shows where he's at on the totem pole. And sure enough, he lost this match, which I fully expected. Corbin did have to cheat to win, though. He poked him in the eyes and then hit the end of days. Yeah, exactly. This was like the commentary was like the Three Stooges, I'll say that, except not as entertaining. By the end of the show, it was just like dead silence with the three of them. They really got to do something about the commentary. I mean,
yeah, Mauro Ranallo, he's great, man, but I think he's way better than Michael Cole, but he needs a better supporting cast.
There's no chemistry. There's no chemistry between Ranallo and JBL, and Otunga's just there. He really adds nothing. Yeah, he adds nothing to it. So, yeah, that was this match with Swagger and Corbin, just basic match to fill time on the pay-per-view. Next up we had Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz, IC title versus the career of Dolph Ziggler. And I thought this match was excellent. I would say this was even better than the triple threat match. I thought that this was really, really good. And, I love the storyline. And they really took advantage of this retirement storyline. And the near falls really meant something. If you're ever going to have a match with all the near falls, this would be the one, with the threat of Ziggler's career being ended. And they really did such a great job with it. This was almost a perfect match. I would say they did a tremendous job with it. What did you think of the match overall?
Yeah, if I gave the triple threat match an A-, this is as damn close to an A+ as you can get because, for one, I went back and forth on this. I thought Dolph Ziggler was really convincing the last few weeks of selling the fact that, maybe it could be the last. That he built up the doubt, and he really sold those well, and I just thought it was a great build-up, and the match itself was great. And the fans, man, talk about a renewed energy or push for Dolph Ziggler. The fans were really in this. And my girlfriend had just come home, and she'd watched the match with me. And we were both getting into it ourselves. We were both marking out. I thought it was great, and good for Dolph Ziggler. And, again, I know Jeff Meacham's real big on The Miz. And I know he's done a great job as being that really dickish heel. But the Intercontinental title deserves to have it elevated. And I think Dolph Ziggler can do it. He gives good matches, on a daily basis. So good for him, man.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline was really strong, and this match told a great story. And they did all the teases. Maurice used the spray again, and you had the Spirit Squad coming out again.
Yep.
And, Ziggler even kicked out of the skull-crushing finale. So they really threw everything out there for this match and went all out for it. And, there was a DirecTV ad that was released that said Ziggler was, the reaction to Ziggler's career being over. And, that made everyone think that was a spoiler or something. I just think that was something that was thrown out there just to, get people thinking that. So when Ziggler won, everyone would be surprised. I mean, I predicted Ziggler all along to win just because it wouldn't have made any sense for Ziggler to lose and lose and lose. And that's the whole storyline. And then he just loses again. So hats off to WWE for making this work, and Ziggler on social media playing up on it and acting like things are over. Just a tremendous job. I mean, very close to a 5-star match, but since neither of these guys are Japanese, I doubt that the certain guy who rates the matches with the stars is going to give it. Maybe we'll give it 4 3/4. I mean, I thought it was very close to a 5-star match. If we're going.
He has direct flights to the Budokan Hall in Okasaka, Japan, so he gets to see those.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I loved it. I mean, it's very hard to criticize anything about this match. I think WWE should have put it in the main event spot. This should have been the match that closed the show.
It should have been. This one should have closed the show, and I was, kind of telling a little bit of the history to her, and I said, back in '92, it's not uncommon for the Intercontinental title belt to be the main event. I mean, it's happened, on occasion, but of course we know of the British Bulldog and Bret Hart closing out SummerSlam. But yeah, it should have closed out the show. I totally agree.
Yeah. All right, next up we had Randy Orton backstage, and this is a really weird segment. He's looking into a mirror, and then his face just started warping. So somebody was using like one of those, what is it, the photo booth on the iMac. They're using one of those photo booth effects where you warp the face.
Warp the face, make him look crazy.
Really, really dumb segment. I was just hoping the Ultimate Warrior would show up in the mirror, just like in WCW. That would have been funny if the Ultimate Warrior was there. They superimposed this picture on the mirror. That would have made this segment memorable. But this was just dumb.
The whole build up to it really has been underwhelming, to say the least.
Yeah. Then we had another filler match. Poor women. I mean, they were both matches here were given the death spots on this show. You had Alexa Bliss coming out saying nobody in the building was at her level. Said she was a woman, there could be no Goldberg to come out and accept the challenge. Oh, there's something else I wanted to mention about the pre-show that got me ticked off. When Kurt Hawkins was out there, sirens started going off, and I thought Scott Steiner was going to come out and lay him to waste.
I heard the siren, and it was the double siren. I was just waiting for the
holler.
If you hear me, yeah.
I was pissed off. I was blissed off. If I was Alexa Bliss, I would be blissed off. I was just frustrated. That was not cool, WWE, to tease a return of Big Papa Pump coming out there and destroying Kurt Hawkins. I would have given the pay-per-view like an automatic thumbs up just for that.
Yeah, that would have been great. Watch Scott Steiner tweet about it, being pissed off that he uses his gimmick now.
Yeah, but they've done it like half a dozen times now. Like with the ambulance, they would bring out the ambulance. I'm sick of it. I mean, if you're gonna have the sirens go off, you have to have Scott Steiner come out. That's his gimmick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not cool, WWE. Not cool, man. Anyways, Naomi was the opponent for Alexa Bliss, and the crowd cared about this so much, they chanted, "We want Becky." Of course, she was in a hospital somewhere, so she could not appear. Naomi pulled off a surprise win. She countered the cross arm breaker into a pinfall, and very weird. So Alexa's the number one contender, and she loses to Naomi. I mean, what's the deal here?
Yeah, it's sketchy booking with the SmackDown's women's division. I said on the onset that it was kind of thin, and with Becky being injured, it's unfortunate that these two women's matches were delegated to the filler match.
Yeah. I'm guessing maybe they'll have another match to have the number one contendership on the line. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Probably either that or have her go out there and win a bunch. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. And then finally we had the main event. Technically the main event, since it was the last match on the pay-per-view. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Really nothing to this match. I mean, the crowd was dead. Like I said earlier, the announcing was very awkward. There were lots of pauses of silence, and you could just hear a pin drop because the crowd was quiet and the announcers were quiet. And Bray dominated most of the match. Randy Orton finally made his comeback, and just as he was going for the RKO, the lights went out. And when they appeared, Luke Harper showed up. Even though Luke Harper appeared on a Raw-branded house show in Chile several days back, he showed up here. Apparently, he's reunited with Bray Wyatt. Early on the show, the referee kicked out Maurice and the Spirit Squad for coming out to ringside. But here, apparently, it's okay for Luke Harper to just show up in the ring. Luke Harper does not get kicked out, despite earlier on the guys getting kicked out. And Bray hit Sister Abigail, and the referee said, all right, I'll count the fall here. And that was the end of the match. So Bray Wyatt wins, and everyone's making a big deal about how Bray Wyatt finally beat Randy Orton, even though, Luke Harper showed up. So it's the same stuff. And you know in the end, Orton's going to win the feud. So, I mean, whatever. Right. I thought it was a very weak ending to this pay-per-view. What did you think of the match and the finish?
Yeah, very weak ending to the show. The crowd, much like SummerSlam, there was, at the peak where the crowd was all right, and then they cooled down and they weren't into it again. I think it was the Ziggler-Miz match. That was the last match they were really hyped and into about. And yeah, the finish was lame, and people read too much into the booking, I think, of Bray Wyatt. You never know if he's going to win or lose. You never know what they're really going to do long-term with him at this point. You hear things, but Yeah, I thought Randy Orton would win because, as you alluded to, I thought he would be built to eventually vie for the WWE World Title down the road. And him losing here, I don't know the booking. I think it was just a case of we'll put whatever out there while everybody else is watching this ridiculous debate.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see Luke Harper back, but in my opinion,
He got the biggest pop of the night.
Not Not enough to save this match, in my opinion.
No.
From being very flat.
No, it wasn't. And, again, the Intercontinental title match should have been at the end. That would have been a good ending for all the people in the audience.
Yeah, but, I mean, we had two awesome matches on this show, so definitely a thumbs-up pay-per-view between the WWE title match and Miz versus Ziggler. Absolutely a thumbs-up show overall.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs-up show overall. It was entertaining to watch, definitely.
Yeah. All right, so that'll wrap it up for our thoughts. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the show. Any plugs you want to get out?
SmartMark420 on Twitter if you want to ask me a question. I promise you this week I will be doing a Power of Pain, so look forward to that. And if you want to ask me any questions, just send me them on Twitter. And to Rift Aronson for having me on, thank you, brother.
No problem. Rift Aronson is retired, though, at least for now. He might have to come out of retirement, though, one of these days if things get a little bit too crazy. He might have to speak his mind. Because some people on Twitter are giving me a hard time. I might have to bring Rift Aronson out of retirement one of these days.
Why so salty? Yeah, you'll have to bring him out.
Yeah. Those people on Twitter, I go so easy on them, too.
Yeah, no, you are, but you do a good job of staying neutral, unlike some other colleagues we know who like to rip into people on air. You don't do that so much.
I just made a comment about Donald Trump looking exhausted and tired during the debate, and somebody said I was biased.
No, that was just putting it mildly. You were just trying to be politically correct.
I'm just observing,
Yeah. Well, he looks like a drunk horse's ass, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Again, I was talking about Trump because he's a WWE Hall of Famer, and somebody said, "Well, why don't you talk about Pete Rose or somebody like that when they're doing something?" The thing is, the debates were, the talk of the world. I mean, it was the number one trend above the pay-per-view.
And incidentally, I was at WrestleMania 23 when Donald Trump and Bobby Lashley were victorious, and Vince McMahon's he's getting his head shaved, and then we found out he never did wear a toupee. Go figure.
Yeah, that ended the decades-old mystery about the toupee. Jerry Lawler, I think, is the one. Did Ventura do it too, or was it just Lawler about the toupee?
No, I think Ventura did make some references. When he was on commentary with Monsoon, I remember him saying about Vince's toupee or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I
don't remember when exactly it started, but yeah, that was something for years that they would make fun of Vince for.
Yeah, it was.
All right. Anyways, we're going off topic here, but also if you guys want to see different videos from us, like top 10 videos, or if you got any suggestions for videos, go ahead and leave a comment. We're interested in maybe doing some videos other than just the reviews. So let us know what you think. And on that note, we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.